Welcome back to PLG Disrupt. Next on stage is Emilie Tulis, VP of Product at Uplight. Uplight is a suite of products that reduces residential energy consumption during peak demand and delivers solutions to energy utilities and their customers to power the customer energy experience and motivate customers into action. Emilie leads Uplight's efforts for deep integration with market-leading smart home device brands to deliver superior performance over traditional utility programs. Today, she will speak for the two sides of the customer coin, designing products that serve B2C and B2B customers. Emilie, the stage is yours.
Hi, PLG Disrupt. I'm Emilie Tulis, and I lead Uplight's smart home energy management technology group, which includes control of devices within customers' homes that we are attempting to manage for an energy outcome. I'm here to talk to you today about some learnings I've had on designing products that have a customer or a buyer who is maybe not the same person who is actually using the product. Let me share my screen here. We will jump in. All right, so as I mentioned, we're here to kind of talk about two sides of the customer coin. Really want to give some context about who Uplight is and why this is relevant to me and the work that I do on a daily basis. So at Uplight, we are trying to save the planet through business. We work with electric and gas utilities to design programs and products that shape the way their customers use energy and hopefully have the outcome of easing the adoption of renewables and reducing the amount of energy we're using overall. We can only do this if utilities both buy our products and their customers engage with and continue to enjoy our products. So as a product practitioner, of course, the product should always put the user first. That's kind of part of our ethos and part of what we do on a daily basis. But sometimes that customer is, sometimes your user that you want to put first is not your customer, or perhaps even more complexly, you are trying to design products for both the user and the customer. This may sound a little bit strange or a little bit uncommon, but it's actually pretty frequent in the marketplace. So I mentioned the use case of Uplight here, where we have electric utilities for whom we're designing, for example, a smart home energy management program where we're trying to reduce grid peaks. But you also have the so-called ratepayers, which is a terrible term, but all of us who use those electric utilities and the services provided by them. So we're the ones actually interfacing with the program as it's being administered. More fun examples include companies like Lego, so any toy company. The people buying their product initially are retailers. So Lego has the impetus to try to encourage retailers to buy their products, to stock them on their shelves, to have them in their warehouse. But the actual end user are kids and people like me, who I think during the pandemic, we all learned a little bit about ourselves and how Legos are still super fun. Another great example is Carfax. So Carfax is a company, if you're not familiar with them, who offers information about vehicles, about used vehicles, including mileage, accident reports, any repairs that have been done that are publicly available. So the users of this product are the car buyers, but the kind of provider of Carfax is often car dealers. And there is an expectation when you go to buy a used car that you're going to be able to look at those Carfax reports. So Carfax has done a really good job of actually marketing to the end user to say, this is something you should ask your car dealers for. And then the car dealers now have to kind of fulfill that need and thus pay Carfax a subscription cost to serve up that information. Another example is in kind of the pharmaceutical and medical industry. So Lilly is a pharmaceutical company. They are marketing their products in many cases to end patients about new offerings that they have and new treatments that are available. But the physicians are the ones who are actually making the determination to prescribe that product. So in effect, they're kind of acting as a customer or as a buyer of the product. So there's obviously a lot of complexity in the go-to-market strategy for any business with these types of challenges and kind of this bifurcation of users. But setting that aside for a second and focusing on the product. If you find yourself identifying with this challenge that we've described, I've learned that it's not so much about the tools that you use, but which or how you use those tools and maybe how you kind of extend them. So whatever you're using now, just think of it as you're going to do it twice or close to twice and add some upgrades. So first of all, consider the user journey or the customer journey of the person buying your product. So how will they make a buying decision? What are the pain points? What are the things that make them successful? And look for areas where, for example, I am successful at my job when users buy, sign up for a subscription on my software platform. I am successful when users or customers buy this product off of my shelf. So you're looking kind of for those escape points. The other thing to do is look at the journey of the end user. So how will they interface with the product? How will they interface with the purveyor of kind of the middle person in this transaction? So in the Lego example, that would be the store. In my example with utilities, that would actually be the sign up flow, or maybe the utility website, or a nudge that's provided by one of our OEM partners. So how do we kind of find the areas where those cross over and can kind of make both the end user and the customer really successful? In the utility context, an example that I can use is, when we talk to a program manager, they're really going to be thinking about the technical aspects of what this demand response or load shift program can deliver. So how are they going to manage their grid better? What are those outcomes? And they're maybe not as focused about how the end user is going to interface with the product. Will they enjoy it? Will they say nice things about the program, or will they say negative things about the program and provide a negative view or negative net promoter score for that utility and thus affect the customer? So sometimes it's our job to help surface those types of maybe unseen risks and opportunities when considering the user for those customers who maybe don't know the space as well. Okay, so jumping into maybe some examples of tools and the opportunities that can be surfaced by looking at them. Something we use a lot at Uplight is jobs to be done. So we do this from the perspective of the customer or the buyer. And it's really kind of the 5 W's, if you will, of your customer and how they move through their daily life. So, who are they? What are their motivations? Why are they doing this job? Where are they doing this job? Are they since the pandemic, locked at home, and so they're kind of on an island a little bit, or is there a larger group within the org that they're doing this role? And how do you make them successful? How do you remove pain for them? How do you save them time? And when in your customer's daily life do they think about the end user? Again, using my utility example, is it just around when the customer enrolls in the program and maybe not thinking as much about the longer term, operational aspects of the program? We want to make sure we're looking at all of those components of the customer journey so that we can surface it to our customers as an opportunity to have a better program. Journey mapping is another really common tool. There are a jillion ways to do this. We often kind of look at it from a value stream standpoint, but purchasing journey is another great way to consider your customers, day to day. So how does your product move through the life cycle of a program manager's life? And then looking at it from a user perspective, what is leading to their buying decision or their purchasing journey of the product that you're trying to sell? Also, I think an important one to think about is the ownership life cycle. So if you have a product with which you want customers to engage frequently over time, you really want to think about not just the device, the service or product being purchased, but also how it will be used henceforth, and how you can continue to provide value to your customer by having a really strong ownership life cycle. So, to use the example of if you really like a product, you're going to go back and buy another one, or maybe re-up on a software subscription, things like that. That has a lot of value to customers as well. So looking for commonalities where you can make both the customer and user successful. The last one is another, stalwart for any product practitioner is just to ask people. So customer interviews, how are you engaging with the product? How are you recommending it to your customers? How do you position it in your store, for example? How do you talk about it in advertising? When do they actually talk about their customer, that end user, kind of in their day-to-day? Getting data from users is also super helpful. So at Uplight, we do a lot of surveying, and we try to kind of do a blend of contemporaneous surveying throughout the operation of the program, and then kind of end of season type programs or surveys. So lots of opportunities to get really helpful information that you can then, convert into NPS. You can convert into data to help your customer, your buyer, better understand what is happening with their customer, what their CSAT is, how to improve things, and maybe, hopefully, since our general goal is that we all want to sell things and stay in business, continue to drive adoption of your products and enable, additional features that further surprise and delight your customers and increase the stickiness. So just to kind of summarize super quickly, the upshot of this approach is you really know your customer and your user. So you're getting insights about what motivates both of them, what does not motivate them, for example, and it allows you to kind of connect the dots and build better products. I think designing products and solutions for two different stakeholders can be more complex, but getting good at it can produce really a step-level change both in the value proposition of your products, as well as offering the opportunity for you to be in the driver's seat and really instructing the conversation with your customer about the types of products they should stock or offer or enable for their end customers. And as I've discussed, there's no new framework that's needed. This is actually all bread and butter product work that we all know how to do. It's really just kind of broadening the definition of what your customer is or who your customer is and looking for opportunities for mutual success. Thank you so much for your time. It's been a privilege to get to talk shop with fellow product practitioners, and I'm really looking forward to questions and any discussion.